I'm standing outside the Harbor UCLA hospital. It's part a psychiatric hospital. To read this part, insanity. I think that humans should focus on stopping violence and damage with intent and no consent. There is more than one human that has a less than accurate description of the universe. Having bad opinions is no reason to be locked in a prison or hospital room. Nobody should be forced to stay in a hospital. If a human has been violent or caused physical damage to another human or some other life advanced past mammal, primate for example, the human should get a democratic trial or vote that includes all living humans at all times to decide what happens to the human. Nobody should be in a court or jail that has not caused physical damage. After all the bad that has been done from the use of the word insane, I do not use the word insane to describe humans. I say less than accurate interpretation of the universe. But by this definition, most religious humans would be labeled insane humans. No human has or ever will see spirits, gods, devils, ghosts, heaven, and hell because none exist. In addition, humans can see when words like God and heaven were first made by other humans. Nobody should be locked in a prison for thinking false ideas are true, like thinking that the planet Mars rotates the planet Earth, because false ideas cause no damage. Humans and other objects cause damage. Humans and other objects cause damage. Deciding what humans are to be called insane or not has no value to me. I care more if a human has caused damage to some object or body. Humans that think there is a God are 9 out of 10 humans, and so labeling most humans crazy has no value to me. Some humans are labeled insane because the human tries to kill the self. If a human is not able or has no interest in staying alive, nobody should put any object into the body unless there is no objection to keep the human alive. A human must be free to stop living. A human should own the self. Humans must be free to put in and take out any objects and also end the life of any and all parts of the body. I also think that a human that has caused damage with intent should be contained in a prison. If the damage was a complete accident decided by continuous popular vote, then the human should not be contained. I hate to see humans like Lorena Bobbitt not being contained in a prison because of insanity. A human that causes damage with intent should be contained in a prison for a standard time decided by popular vote. In my opinion, insanity is not a reason to make less prison time. If a human sees the other body being damaged, there is no excuse unless there is no time to stop, for example in a vehicle, or when there is consent. There may be risky movements or movements a human made that are more risky than an average body. I think that free trade of data and also the systems humans use to stop physical damage from happening with a good, popular set of laws applied to all life is the best anybody can do to make risk less and keep free body movement. For the most part, I am a human that supports first containing bodies that have already caused physical damage. Asking for this is enough and a good start at this time. Some humans lock other humans in hospitals with the reason that the human is a danger to self and others. I think that humans must be allowed to damage the self. Humans must own the self, their own body. That a majority of humans think that a human may cause damage to other humans is not enough to lock a human in a jail or a hospital, in my opinion. Making sounds, images, or thoughts asking for or showing violence or damage should not be enough to make a human locked in jail. The free trade of data should allow humans that have caused damage before made sounds asking for damage or that tried to cause damage to be recognized. I ask that all humans be released from all psychiatric hospitals on all planets of the star system. If a human now in a hospital has caused no less than a scratch of damage, the human must be moved to a prison. No matter how inaccurate the opinions of the human may be, even if the human thinks there is a God and a devil, even if the human thinks there is a Santa somewhere in the universe, the human should be free to move in the universe until causing some kind of physical damage to mammal life and perhaps objects owned by other mammals. Here is something that happens on Earth at this time. A human is seen nude and another human Other humans call the police humans. 2 or more humans in police uniforms capture the nude human and take the human to a psychiatric hospital, like the University of California, Los Angeles Hospital in Torrance, California, United States. The nude human is always taken in by the humans at the hospital. Nobody is ever not taken in. The nude human is then tied with cow's-tin straps on all 4 limbs to a hospital aluminum bed. Humans were tied to walls in some prisons as recently as 1400 or 1400 AD. The last human locked in jail for atheism was in the 1800s, 1800 AD, and is left alone. The human is left alone, tied to a table for 30 or more minutes. The human is then contained in the hospital for 3 days, 72 hours, until let go. All of this torture, for what reason? There is not one bruise caused by this human. Nobody other than the nude human felt any pain. Most of this brutal, not fair process can be related to religion and humans that never stop damage. Think of the number of humans that must be freed from the psychiatric hospitals that have never caused a bruise and would probably accept free food and water. I read in a list of police arrests listed in a Huntington Beach, California, USA newspaper that a suspicious man was asking for food. The man was taken in for mental evaluation. I mean, what could the evaluation possibly have been? Yes, the human does want some food. Making sounds does not seem like a good enough reason to be locked in a hospital. Most humans think that a human talking when nobody else seems to be listening indicates that the human may be violent or must be locked in a hospital. I think that simply making sounds is not a reason to be locked in a hospital with no consent. I make sounds and speak out all the time for myself and for hundreds of thousands of humans that watch and listen to me wherever I am. In my apartment, in a car, walking on a path, in a bus, anywhere on planet Earth. Because of machines built by humans, hearing what I think and say can be done no matter where on the surface of Earth I move. So before capturing and locking in humans that seem to be talking, consider that maybe the human is talking to humans that are watching the human like television. In addition, always remember that at most the human is simply making sounds and has not yet caused any physical damage to a human other than the self. Look for data on the past of the human. Has the human ever thrown a punch or caused any damage? I hate that humans label other humans with problems. The number one problem the psychiatric humans have is the labeling humans with problems problem. And then giving and putting drugs into the human with no consent. This seems to be another problem. For some reason, injecting humans with drugs does not anger the anti-drug humans. Only when drugs are used with consent do the anti-drug humans get angry. What definition of crazy and insane is being used? I am giving a new definition. If a human, here's my definition. If a human thinks that there exist objects in the universe that have never been seen, the human may be named a crazy human. By this definition, any human that prays to a god or thinks that there is a heaven must be labeled an insane human. Can the human describe the explanation of the universe given by science? Can the human describe the past of the universe? Can the human describe what an atom is? Does the human think there is gravity, or does the human think that a god moves all the matter in the universe? I hate to think that 9 of 10 humans must now be locked, fed, and drugged and clothed in hospitals because the human thinks a god exists. The more fair idea is that no human should be locked in hospitals ever. If a human has caused damage to a different human, then prison is the place to store the damage-causing human. If there was no consent, yes intent, and no defense of a mammal.